almost getting into the most wonderful time of the year, folks. And thanks to everybody tuning in today for the CAMPOUT community. But thank you, most of all, to anybody who has already or is planning on coming into any one of our 3 stores today. 10% of all store sales go back to Salvation Army Food Pantries. We're very excited about the opportunity to help them, help the community, help food insecurity in Western Pennsylvania. And as a sweetener, there are some people out there who might be like, oh, well, yeah, I don't know if I want to. Well, here's why you come in today, man. We got a produce sale going on, and $5 off 25 coupons for all rewards members. You might say, I'm not a rewards member. It's very simple. Come into the store, within seconds you're a rewards member, you get your $5 off 25. Feel good about knowing you're helping food insecurity in Western Pennsylvania. We are here with amazing members of our community, amazing members, give me the bells, bad idea, of the Salvation Army of our communities. We have some of the greatest servants of the community with us here, right here today. It's not just my opinion, it's an opinion shared by most people that are within sound mind and body. I want to go around the room first because I don't want to mess up titles. I want to make sure everybody gets credit for everything they're doing and achieving. So give your name, title, and what you do for our community every single day.
Hi, Ryan. I'm Major Brent Carlson. My wife and I are the commanding officers for the Katanning Salvation Army. And we work every day to try to meet the needs as they come, especially with food. And I know we focus on that today, but so many other different programs that we make available to the community. So we thank you for having us here.
Thank you, Sprinkle Brothers, for inviting us back. We love coming here. We love supporting CAMPOUT for Community and the Sprinkle family because you guys do so much for our communities. And but my name's Gloria. I'm a senior field representative with the Salvation Army. That's part of the service extension. We service beyond where the Salvation Army actual buildings are. The service extension goes into the deep woods sometimes to service our people, and that's what I do. I oversee the service units in 7 or 9 counties now, but we split them all up between my job and yeah, but I'm happy to be here along with my Salvation Army members.
Hi there, I'm Karen Boltz, and I am the Human Services Secretary for the Saxonburg Salvation Army, and we are a service unit, so we are all volunteer.
Yeah, I'm Marlon Boltz, Chairman of the Saxonburg Service Unit. We are in the deep woods that Gloria just talked about. We are a service unit, and Karen's been doing this for 25 years, and I've joined her since I've retired about 7 years ago.
And I gotta say, Karen, I mean, the earrings are amazing. I mean, what kind of a donation do the people out there have to give to get earrings like that? I mean, that's amazing. Are they custom? Are they custom, or I mean, can they be bought? Those are so cool.
A friend who rings the bell for us quite often took the bell several years ago to a jeweler and said, turn these into earrings. And I wear them for every Salvation Army event.
What a great idea.
I'm Helen Shockley. I'm a senior field representative, and I want to thank everyone for being here and being such a wonderful team.
It was wild this year. The earrings remind me of something. Remember that crazy rainstorm we had in Saxonburg for that one parade? Yes. Like, there was lightning striking. Like, guys, this parade, I've never been in a parade where I saw lightning strike, like, right in front of me, and everybody's like, we're going to keep the parade going. And you guys were like, you had people walking behind in the torrential downpour. And it was just the most amazing event ever. For me, I was in the side by side. I'm like, that was close. And the guy's like, yeah, it was like literally that tree over there just fell over. I'm like, nobody's calling this thing?
I'm a new member of the Saxonburg community, and I mean, I've been a part of community events and communities since I was like, riding in parades with my pap at the Knights of Columbus in Bellwood, Pennsylvania. Shout out Bellwood, Pennsylvania. But one thing I will say is I've never been around a community that has a commitment to events like Saxonburg. It's amazing. The Mingles, man. I mean, it could be like cats flying across my window, and they're still having the mingle.
Oh no, and like the rules are, if you like don't show up because of weather, you're blacklisted. Like you're off the mingle list. You could have been a family member there for 30 years. Done.
I think it's absolutely amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing. I love it. I mean, I love it. I love being a member of the community. But let's start off with Helen. Helen, in the region, let's talk about, like, this is your goal for what you want to have as far as your pantries, as far as going to the holiday season. But this is what you need in a perfect world. What would be like, you know, always talk about Oprah's favorite things, Oprah's wish list. Helen's wish list, if you could make every problem go away in your territory.
Locally here for Saxonburg, we offer the food pantry, and that's one of the most important pieces. Not only do we provide people the food, they come and pick it up, but there's a few individuals and families that don't have access to pick up the food, so some of our volunteers do drive it to their home, so that's the most important piece. We don't feel that anybody should ever go hungry.
Well, we agree wholeheartedly on that, and it's amazing. The volunteers, again, it's all volunteer. I mean, the volunteers that are driving around the meals and collecting the groceries and coordinating and everything, they're all volunteer.
Correct. They're all volunteer. If anybody wants to come and volunteer, give us a call, and we can fit you in somewhere.
Would you be, if somebody volunteers in the next, say, week, would you be willing to have custom earrings made for them?
I will.
Hey, it's in the budget.
In the next week. You heard it here. If you volunteer, if you show up as a volunteer, and let's use some retailing, because we've learned the hard way. You got to make sure there's something attached to it. 90 days. If you're still volunteering 90 days from now, minimum 10 hours a month.
Yes, I still have a small bag of these bells, and I actually do custom jewelry work, so yes, I could make them for you.
Karen will make them for you.
Yes.
There you go, man. And 90 days from now, it's still short of the holiday, so you're going to be able to wear these things proudly for the holiday season. It's a beautiful thing. But Major Brown, let's talk about up in the great northern fortress of Katanning. You're new to the community. Well, not anymore, I guess. Newish. What are you seeing up there? What are you seeing up there? What's the biggest need right now in Katanning Salvation Army?
Right now, we're seeing a large request for shelf-stable food for people who are homeless, people who are right now living in motels where they don't have a kitchen, for anything that they don't have to refrigerate. So that has been an increased need, at least in our area. But then on the other side of that, people are asking for fresh produce or dairy products or meat. Meat is the most expensive item. You know that. But with being able to access your stores and our Pittsburgh Food Bank, we try to keep our refrigerators and freezers stocked as much as we can, and the need just never stops. So.
Well, let me ask this question too. So, just for people out there, like, okay, how many people are we talking about? How many people are we affecting? We always talk about it in terms of families, but I think it's important to talk about it in terms of mouths and people that are relying on these services. So, do you have a count of Katanning in the last year? How many people have you served in all the different ways that you service communities? Or you could talk about even some of the ways that you service communities.
Yeah, we probably distribute at least 3 families a day, Monday through Thursday. People come in, or we go by appointments when we can, but people just walk in and request that. But besides the food pantry, we also offer assistance with utilities and rent and mortgage, and sometimes we have homeless hotel stays where we try to house them. We can, we don't have an endless supply of funding, so we have to monitor what we do. But a couple nights in a hotel to get people off the streets, especially during the cold, and also in the last couple months to get them out of the heat as well. We had some pretty horrendous heat recently, and that increased our request for people just to get into air conditioning and to be safe.
So many different ways that you guys provide just that last line of defense against serious issues.
Yep.
So really amazing.
Yep.
Gloria, let's shift to the canal town, Leechburg, PA.
Ooh, Leechburg.
Leechburg, PA. Let's talk about Leechburg, Gloria. What's happening in Leechburg?
First of all, Leechburg, you rock. Leechburg, Leechburg has really grown within the service unit within the last 3-4 years, and only because of the CAMPOUT and what Sprinkles does. There was a lot of doors closed for the service unit because of funding. And one area I'll talk about is food. As people know, Leechburg isn't a rich area, but it's rich in giving and love. And people in this town have just grown to, one, recognize that the service unit exists. Because for years, they didn't even know that there was a service unit. They didn't even know what it was. And we've been able, because of what Sprinkles has done during CAMPOUT, where there wasn't doors to open, you guys have built these doors where we can open and donate to food banks and food pantries. With our own clients that we service, we don't always have to refer them out anymore. We can say, hey, listen, go down to Sprinkles. We work with Randy. Randy will, and his staff will hook you up with some food. And it sounds so simple to some people, but food is not simple. Never has been. One of the Salvation Army's greatest mottos, and it's an old motto which came from our founder, William Booth. It says soup, soap, and salvation. And one of our main goal within the Salvation Army, as people know, is to save souls. But in order to get to people and their souls and to teach them about God and about hope, because it's all about hope, is we got to feed them. Because if you're hungry, you're not going to listen to nothing. Yeah. And, we find people on the streets hungry, and we can feed them. And it gives them an opportunity to breathe and think, because when you're hungry, you can't even think right and make decisions. So one of the areas is, and one of our greatest mottos, and this is, we got to feed them. There should not be one person hungry. Not one person should go hungry. And that motto from William Booth, that soup, soap, and salvation, is probably one of the greatest mottos I've ever heard in my life. Because you feed them, clean them up, and they'll become productive community members. I'm going to use you personally, Ryan, in your store.
Hopefully it's not involving soap.
Because I'm in your... I know, you need to sell more soap.
I'm really glad somebody brought this up. He finally needs some soap.
I got a shower.
Yeah,
I shaved around the edges.
No, I go in Sprinkles quite a bit because I live in Gatanning. And I always support the little guy. The small business owners, because we're all little guys in a world full of big people. But I go in your store, and I see some of the people you've chose to employ. People that were once hungry, that the Salvation Army has fed. And when I go in that store and I see them bagging my groceries or, stocking the meat or in the deli, I'm like, wow. Because you know what? Just like we feed people, you give people hope with jobs and employment. And I'm sure you do the same thing in the Saxonburg store. But it is so amazing to walk in that store and look at somebody that they once believed they were hopeless. And because there's a domino effect within small towns, it takes a village. And we're all part of that village. And there's no greater pride than when I walk into Sprinkles and see what I see.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Gloria. You know, Doug and I, at different times in our lives, you know, people would have looked at what us at the time and been like, well, I don't know about these guys. But, like, you know, at some point our parents either trusted us or were just so sick of the business that they, you know, sold us the business, gave us opportunity to own businesses. You know, we've had some business leaders show faith in us with different roles in the community. And so, you know, without those people giving us that opportunity, we would not be sitting here today. So we try to pass on the same thing to people that work for us. And I'm glad you brought up the community aspect of it, because Gloria's right. Like, we've been a big part of this, but we would not be a big part of this. It would not be sitting here if it wasn't for Sprinkle Nation out there supporting it and making sure that with the likes and the shares, getting attention to the stores, supporting the stores, working at the stores, leading at the stores when we're not there. All of those people, that whole nation out there, has created this opportunity and this literal microphone to be able to help organizations like the Salvation Army. So that's a great segue to make sure I thank everybody out there who's making this possible and the people in this room today. But moving on to the great John Roebling's great idea town of Saxonburg. You got some bridge happenings in Saxonburg. Let's talk about that real quick.
Well, they're working on the community park, and they're hoping to have that bridge, I think, soon. Isn't it very soon?
Yeah, they're building the foundation now.
Yeah, the foundation has been underway, and that's a really great asset. The Rotary actually put a big playground in, and I live 1 mile from Saxonburg, so I'm driving through Saxonburg pretty often. Every single time I've driven past that park, that playground is in use. So Saxonburg's just such a cool town. There's a lot of people that want to be involved, and like you said, we love to party and carry on and have events. If our football team wins, we all go and stand along Main Street and give them a parade as they come back to town, you know. Yeah, Saxonburg's a cool town.
It's amazing. I'm glad you brought up the park and everything that's happening there from the historical center over, because I have a 1-year-old, as most people know. I have a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 1-year-old. Surprise, you know. And people have asked, all of the same wife. It's just amazing, like miraculous. But it's such a blessing. But next to Miss Rachel on YouTube, the park has been just a great thing to have.
Oh, yes.
For her, you know, it's a good, safe environment, and it's in a good strategic spot. On the way to the store to buy some groceries or something, you know.
It's very close to Sprinkles.
Yeah,
It is, and we actually, a guest later on from the Saxburg group is Steve May, who's helped secure a lot of these grants. They get all, including the new bathrooms. They're planning on expanding stuff. Obviously, they had to separate the bridge. And then I think Scott Docker told me this week they're going to actually bring the cranes in and lift the old rope shop up so they can redo the foundation so it stops crumbling. So, like, literally, at the end of this year, we're going to have a complete park that's, you know, rivals anything else you'd see in Pennsylvania. So that's just one of the cool things that's happening. But guys, when it comes to the Salvation Army in our Saxburg location, I mean, you guys are feeding, you know, how many mouths a month is the unit feeding? You know, and people don't realize, you know, Saxburg is a tale of two cities. I mean, yeah, you have some wealth moving out towards the Route 8, but there's also, you know, people are just trying to get by. And you know, that's why I think Salvation Army does a great job of helping, you know, and again, especially with this year alone, the amount of power outages we've had, first time in history in Saxonburg that I remember that we were out for almost 7-8 hours. In that time frame, residential freezers and refrigerators, the freezer might be all right, but the refrigerator is shot, so the people that are already having food insecurities now have to throw out their entire fridge, other than the freezer side.
Yes, yeah, that can be really challenging. I have noticed it's almost 4 years since we started our food box program. And we do not have people coming asking for food like we used to. The food box program really is helping people. And we make it a point to give at least 3 meats, and I give them recipes and everything they need to make them. And they can, depending on how many people are in the home, they have at least 4 or 5 meals nice meals that include meat and fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, that they don't have to pay for. And that has made a big difference that I really see in what people come and request. I still get people that need their electric bill paid or the rent or that kind of thing. But the food box program is just about, I suppose, 3/4 of our annual budget, but it is making a difference in the community.
Yeah, I think Gloria was correct in saying that, if you feed people, they can think and go on to do things. In the previous segment, you talked about corporate and big corporations and so forth. And what's happening in our community is that the mom and pop trailer parks that were founded by an owner that had some ground and he put a trailer park and they're being purchased by larger conglomerates. And they're fixing them up, they're making them nicer. With that comes increased rent to the tune of, nearly double sometimes?
Many of them are very close to double.
Double. And
yes.
so what that puts it, so now what we're seeing is some mostly older people that were relying on that. They maybe only have their Social Security for income, and all of a sudden their rent doubles and they can't afford to live there, or they need some extra boost. So they're in the food box program. So we're seeing that we're feeding more senior citizens now than we did before, and also helping with rent when we can. And to your point about electric, out in where we live, if you lose your electric, you don't have water and you don't have refrigeration and all the other things that you need. But so we help a lot of people with electric, because if they get a shut off, then it costs a lot more money to get it turned back on, and they lose all their food and they don't have water and everything that goes with that. So yeah. But we're seeing a lot more need. I would say we've seen a shift in who we service. From there was a lot of single parents that needed a little
mostly
boost.
single moms.
And now it's, I would say, about 50% senior citizens. So we've seen a shift in the last 25 years that Karen's been doing this.
But food is really a big thing. There's one older gentleman that we take a food box to because he is wheelchair bound and cannot get out of his home. And his rent has gone up so much that he has almost nothing left. And when I take his food box to him, he has opened his fridge, 5 or 6 items in there. I mean, he desperately needs the food. And it's really sad to think of people that don't have enough food. And it is really fulfilling to be able to volunteer for a group that provides that to people who are going to be hungry without that.
And it does need to be said that CAMPOUT for Community has really helped us initiate the program and keep it going. And Sprinkles in general is responsible. We were just talking on the way down here for about 60% of our total collections. Between what we collected in the store, because you allow us to be in there, and the CAMPOUT for Community funds that you make available to us, it's changed. I told Doug the other day, sort of jokingly, I said, when he came into town, I said, my job got way more difficult because we have more funds to work with, and so we had to determine what was the best way to do that. And it's appropriate that a grocery store moved into town and suddenly we're able to feed people, which we didn't have a food box. We didn't have. We gave people money for food here and there when they needed it or they came to us. We sort of tried to hide a little bit because we only had limited funds to work with. Sprinkles comes to town and our budget triples, and suddenly we're able to do a lot more for people in the community than what we were. So I really appreciate what you guys have done and your commitment to the community and helping people. It's made it possible.
Well, it started off as an early age for us, and that was a touching piece. I'm not actually crying. I don't know what's happening. I hit my head in the back earlier. So if I start speaking in strange tongues, I was literally running. I was running through on a quick break, and I all of a sudden, boom! It was like somebody hit me with a 2x4. And here, some guy that was like 5'3" that created that hallway back there.
That is the shortest hallway ever.
I'm telling you, man, my eyes are still watering. My eyes are still watering from the shot.
Bail on the way out last time got knocked out.
I
get smelling salts
we got
out.
Snakes up next. I'm starting to get like a cotton mouth effect. I don't know. If I pass out, Guys, thank you for all of you do to help us help the community.
You guys shout out the pack, man.
Yeah.
Pac-Man's coming up.
Yeah,
Largest bearded dragon I've ever seen in my life.
No, I'm excited, man. I'm pumped, a little nervous, a little scared. But Helen, do you have any final parting thoughts on what people out there should know about Salvation Army, or your perspective on maybe some things that are happening that they should be aware of? And also, tell them the official date of the bell ringing start. Is there an official date?
We start the week before Thanksgiving. We end right before Christmas. And it's very important to come out, volunteer, ring the bells for us. That's where we get a lot of our money to feed the hungry in these communities. And we're always here for anybody that needs us. Give us a call. And like I said, if you want to volunteer, please feel free to reach out to your local service unit or corps. We'll be happy to bring you aboard.
And you get free earrings after 90 days and 10 hours of service.
Karen committed to that.
That's on. I heard that's company-wide. Is that true? No.
Karen committed to that. Well, is there anything else that, as the people were talking over there, that Gloria or Major, that you guys thought of that you'd like to share with the group?
Well, I was just thinking, this week we have schools that are starting in Armstrong County, and that has created additional financial needs for families with school clothes and food for lunches and all the rest of that. So many times with, we talk about food insecurity, but there's times when people say, okay, I can go and get some help with food. I can take my food budget and apply it to get some school clothes for my kids, or to pay the electric bill, or to pick up prescriptions that, medicine is so expensive, all the rest of that. So to be able to help out in that time of need with, donations that we receive from the community, through our bell ringing, through the CAMPOUT, all of that, it all works together. And the community, not just Katanning, but Armstrong County, Butler County, is just, we hear the stories all the time of how generous the community is, and we couldn't do it without all that help.
It's beautiful.
Volunteers are essential part of the Salvation Army. They are the foundation of the Salvation Army. Without our volunteers, we would struggle. We would truly struggle, and the Salvation Army does truly appreciate their volunteers for all their, tireless hours of doing a lot of different things within the Salvation Army, from, believe it or not, cleaning toilets to ringing the bell to, it's a lot. But it's just like, when you pull in Katanning Sprinkles, you see these 3 mugs saying on this poster, we can't do what we do without you. And that is true with the Salvation Army as well. And I think that's why we relate to each other so very well, because without what you do for us, we can't do for them. And what they can't do for us, we can't do for anybody. So it's one big circle of people helping people. And that's what it all comes down to.
I'll tell you what, Gloria, you just took care of my closing speech. That was beautiful. So on that note, everyone out there, you can support the Salvation Army today, and I would throw a little in your mind. A lot of people use cards now when they're out and about shopping and stuff throughout the holiday season. Take a couple quarters with you if you're using a card, or take a dollar or something. Pull it out of the dog's mouth and take it, or whatever you got to do to get the money, but take it in to these locations. Don't pass up a bell. Don't pass up a kettle. You just heard where it goes to. So make sure you support them. Today's your biggest chance, really, to do that. 10% of everything goes back to the Salvation Army Food Pantries of all sales at all 3 stores today. So do your shopping, do your month shopping, do your year shopping, but do your shopping today. Help these guys out. Help them help the community. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Ryan.
And thank you guys for all the service.
Thank you all.
Thanks for all the volunteerism. People don't know that the amount of work and time you guys put into the community, it's inspiring. So thank you for all the years of service and the continued help that you give our communities. I really appreciate it. And guys, make sure you check us out. We can't do it without you. Come and see us.